Rules. What are rules? Rules are there to keep us safe. Rules are there to tell us what we can and can't do. Without rules, there is no fun that can be had. Sports like football, whether that be the round things or the oval-shaped things, hockey, even baseball, have had plenty more years than Robot Combat has to adapt and change. They've got a rule set that everybody pretty much knows and follows. However, because BattleBots is a newish sport, in the last 20 or so years, their rule set is more of a working document. Year on year, the rules adapt and change to things that are seen in the pits and in the arena. With all that said, let me take you through some of the rule changes for this year's season of BattleBots. First up, we have the Match Steward. This is a new role for this year of BattleBots. It is a BattleBots official who primarily acts as an intermediary between the judges and the teams. The Match Steward can also have other match-related responsibilities. They can act as an intermediary between the teams and judges on match scoring and rules questions, serve as an intermediary between the judges and a team making an appeal, more on that in a moment. They can advise judges on rules, interpretations and match scoring. They can advise BattleBots officials on matters of tournament seeding and scoring criteria, and they can advise teams on the interpretation of these tournament rules. However, regardless of the above functions, a Match Steward cannot directly overrule any judge's decisions. Number 2, and if you didn't think judges' decisions were already divisive enough, well, look out for appeal! If at the end of a match a team disputes a decision of the judges, they can make an appeal to the Match Steward to evaluate that decision. The procedure for an appeal is as follows. After the judge's decision is announced, a team member informs the Match Steward that they are appealing the decision. The Match Steward will not consider any appeal not made within 1 minute after the decision is announced. Upon receiving the appeal, the Match Steward then immediately meets with a single representative from each team involved in the disputed match. The member of the team making the appeal must give a specific reason why they are appealing. No other non-BattleBots personnel can discuss the appeal with the Match Steward. The Match Steward then presents the appeal information to the judges and advises the judges on any rules interpretation issues. Team members cannot have any contact whatsoever with the judges themselves. However, the team representatives may ask the Match Steward to show them the judges' scorecards. The judges then make a decision on whether or not to rescore the match and report their decision to the Match Steward, who then informs the teams and the appropriate BattleBots officials. Due to time constraints, the judges may have to defer their decision until there is a break between matches. If the appeal is denied, it cannot be further appealed. A team that loses an appeal cannot make any additional appeals for the duration of the tournament. Next up are some clarifications and edits to match action timings. These are actions such as pinning, lifting and grappling. Firstly, referees will allow pinning for a maximum of 10 counts per pin. Then the referee will instruct the attacker to release. If after being instructed to do so, the attacker is able to release but deliberately does not, their robot may be disqualified and the team will forfeit the match. After a pin, the attacker must move away from the opponent robot, as defined in a later paragraph. If the attacker is unable to release, the referees will declare the robots to be stuck, and the procedure for a stuck robot will be followed. For lifting, referees will allow a maximum of 20 counts per lift. At the end of the count, the referee will instruct the lifting robot to stop the lifting, etc, etc. It is also worth noting, however, that a lift is also counted if a Minibop high centres its opponent. This is a new addition to the rules. The rules for grappling have been updated to also be 20 seconds. This goes down from the usual 30 that we are used to. In all of these cases, for pinning, lifting or grappling, the release must happen before the end of the count. At long last, the crab walking rules have been revoked. No longer will you be counted out if you are crab walking around the arena. Movement is movement. The official wording of the rules states that a robot is considered responsive if it can display some kind of noticeable translational or rotational movement on the arena floor. The robot can use any combination of mobility and or weapon systems for the movement, and the direction of movement does not have to be controllable. Far too many of the fights last season ended because crab walking was deemed as uncontrollable movement. This is no longer going to be the case. We will not see any more controversies in the same vein as the Witch Doctor Minotaur issues at the end of last season. The unstick rules have become a bit patchy in recent years, and so they've all been updated. To cut down this massive section of the document into the bits that you need to know, singular robots hung up on the floor will be deemed immobile. There will no longer be an unstick. This is also true if a robot is stuck on a hazard or railing. 2 robots stuck but not to each other will be counted out, the match will end, and it will go to a simultaneous knockout judge's decision. 2 robots stuck together may be attempted to be freed from one another within the first 2 minutes of the fight. Outside of that time, the judges will make a decision on the match winner. Unsticks of this nature may happen twice per match. Failure to be safely separated will result in a TKO as decided by the judges, as it has been previously. Minibots stuck under an opponent may be freed once per match without consequence. However, if they get stuck a second time, they are removed from the match entirely. We now once again return to the Witch Doctor Minotaur controversy, with the engagement rules being updated. The engagement procedure is that robots can't avoid making contact with each other. It's as simple as that. If a referee determines that the 2 robots are avoiding or unable to make contact, they will notify the teams that they are about to be counted out and start a count of 20. If a robot has been determined to be stuck and the referees have started the 20 count, a competing robot is not required to engage the stuck robot. However, there is no prohibition against it, so if they want to, they're more than welcome to. If a robot gets free again, the engagement rules once again apply. Now everyone just needs to make sure they follow those rules. Something that will make judges' decisions a lot easier is a post-match functionality display. These may take place after a match goes the full 3 minutes to show the weapon usage and the drive power that is still available to the robots in the box. These demonstrations are voluntary. Immediately following the end of the match, each team must notify their referee if they want to participate. Each demonstration should last no longer than 10 seconds, and the referee will enforce the time limit. We may well not see these on TV. Don't worry about it, we know it's happening. The penultimate rule change I want to cover is Minibop Batteries. They can no longer be the flat pack batteries, and I thought this was rather strange until I remembered some of the fights we had, and then it wasn't strange anymore. Minibots may only use cylindrical LiFi batteries, NIMH or NiCads. Lithium polymer flat packs are not allowed. And lastly, but by no means least, a couple of updates to the judge's handbook on control and aggression. Firstly, aggression. Circling your opponent looking for an angle of attack is deemed more aggressive than keeping to the centre of the box, facing your weapon towards your opponent. Unlucky Hydra. And on the topic of control, if one bot is consistently able to use its active weapon or arena hazards against its opponent, while the opponent is unable to effectively use their weapon or the hazards, then the attacking bot should receive the majority of control points. And that is it for all the rules for the builders. I want to issue one last rule to all of the audience. Please be respectful of each other and of the Roboteers. They're trying to put on the best show that they can, and we're trying to enjoy it as much as possible. So if you're going to watch it live or if you're watching it on TV, please enjoy, but be respectful. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like. Do subscribe to this channel if you are new, and I shall see you very soon for some fun stuff to come.